Thank you for everyone who's here. We're very excited, and you can see all the people on our bima that are excited to sing and play for you today. But before they will join the party and play for us, I would like to ask you to help me with putting the next song. So there'll be a little teaching of how and what we need to do. And some of you already know it. It's not complicated. It will be a repeat after me and claps. So the song is Hine Matov, that you know the words. Hine Matov, how good it is, how sweet it is. Uma Naim, how sweet, how wonderful. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, that we're all sitting here together. And you have no idea how thrilled we really are that you guys are all here and we're all sitting together. So in this song, I will sing Hine Matov, and then I need you to clap twice. 1, 2. Let's try. Hine Matov. Nice. Umanahim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov. Umanahim shevet achim gam yachad. And the second part is a repeat after me. So warm up your voices. Will be how good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. You don't need to repeat that. You can sing with me. To be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hine Matov umanahim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov umanahim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hine Matov umanahim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov umanahim shevet achim gam yachad. Let's do that one more time. Hine Matov umanahim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov umanahim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Last time. Hine Matov umanahim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov umanahim shevet achim gam yachad.
awesome.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
You might be asking, how is this night different from all other nights? And you can certainly tell because the short answer is we're going to rock the place. It is amazing to be gathered for a real family service, the final family service of the school year, the confirmation, and our musical ensemble coming all together. It's a really good feeling. We've been waiting about 2.5 years plus for something like this. So we welcome you. It may be a tad louder than usual, but we will be singing all together and adding to our spirit. It's always very special to welcome the confirmation class. You knew that these students have been studying with us for 3 years past bar and bat mitzvah. And so now I'd like to honor the families by calling forward the mothers of the confirmation class to come forward for the lighting of the Shabbat candles. We'll do the reading first on page 3. Let's read together, first, page 3. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. All together, the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner lehadlik ner shel Toda la'imahot, thank you to the mothers. Our welcome of Shabbat continues with the classic song of welcome, the Lecha Dodi, on page 20.
לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, ישמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת לתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מהראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ברינה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני ים סגולה. בואי חלה בואי חלה לך אותי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה לך אותי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה לך אותי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה לך אותי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה.
We remain standing for the Baruch Hu, page 28.
Lai 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 la 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 lai 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 Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach לעולם ועד ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד לי 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 לי
Please be seated. In praise of the world around us, page 31, praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. From the world around us to the world within us, Ahavat Olam, page 32.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta, otanu lemadeta. Malakeinu Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbeinu, ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי תמחיינו ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
We join with Owen and Cal in the Shema and the V'ahavta, page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levacha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך ובביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וקשרתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Owen and Cal, you might say, are the underclassmen. They're going to be joined now for the Micha Mocha by the upperclassmen, the graduating confirmands in the class, as we turn to our Song of Liberation on page 40.
Say
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Yisrael. Our next prayer, the Hashkivenu prayer, the prayer seeking the shelter of calm from the storm, will be sung in combination with the words of the reggae rapper Matisyahu, One Day. Page 42.
Sometimes I play under the moon, and I thank God I'm breathing. And then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drowned, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomeinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomeinu lechayim. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this maze you can lose your way, your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it faze you. No way, no way, no way. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomeinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomeinu lechayim. One day, one day, one day, one
And you're going to go home and you're going to hear that in your head as well. It's going to be playing around for sure. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru, which we all know, page 44.
Ve
Vesham.
No, they didn't get it. They didn't get it. Veshamru
Bnei Yisrael et Shabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam berit olam Veshamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam berit olam
אותי לעולם
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם
וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Amen, amen. We are ready for the tefillah prayer that links our faith with the faith of our ancestors from generation to generation. We ask the generation of the confirmation class to come forward to lead us and the generation of parents and grandparents to join in the tefillah prayer. Page 46, we rise.
Yeah, you too. Come on, come on, come on.
שפתי תפתח ופי אבלי תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei
הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל, אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומציר אסורים, ומחיה אמונתו בשמי עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצליח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Page 59, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'eh lehodot. This section of prayer ends with our heartfelt prayer of peace. Shalom Rav, page 60.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael lechol et uvechol shah Yishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam.
You know, we hope that every time we offer a prayer, it's lifted up, but somehow with harmonies and instrumentals, it's really lifting up, even more so. And we hope now that our prayer of healing is lifted up because there are so many in need of healing. Those that we know, those that we don't know, those close to us, those far from us. For all those in need of healing, be this a healing of body or a healing of soul, we join together in the Misha Berach healing prayer.
Berach Avotenu Mekor Habraha Lematenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor Habraha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
You know the famous Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, the bell with the crack in it? More important than the crack is the inscription on that Liberty Bell. It's from this week's Torah portion, proclaim liberty to all the inhabitants. And in Hebrew, it's karatem dror. It means liberty, but it means more than that. It means liberation. It means release. The Jubilee year described in the Torah portion was when we proclaimed this liberty, and any family that had lost its land gets its land back. Any family that has been dispossessed comes back into their tribe and into the nation. It's a way of addressing the creeping inequality that the Torah recognizes happens as the years go by. And so now as we pause, we think about on our little micro level and on the much larger level of our society, how can we proclaim liberty, release, liberation? How can we close the gap between those who have and those who have not? Let's pause for a few moments of our own silent prayer.
meditation of my heart be acceptable to you. O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, ve'imeru.
It is true that every year I say how proud I am of the confirmation class, and I mean that. It's always sincere. But this year's graduating confirmation class, think about what they have been through these last 3 years in general, but hanging in there through more than a year of Zoom classes, starting this year in person, and then that long Omicron pause going back to Zoom and then back to in person. But this year's graduating confirmation class, 6 of the 8 students in our class, they actually were a very tight group all the way through religious school, and especially as they celebrated their B'nai Mitzvah a number of years ago. So I think it was that, in Hebrew we say gibush, it was that cohesion and that tightness as a class which enabled them to persevere and really not miss one step, one beat along the way. So it's with great admiration that I'm about to call upon the graduating 10th graders. Each year, at the end of the year, they have a choice to pick one of several verses. This year, our emphasis this particular year was on family ethics, ethics of our own speech and the way we treat each other, all the way to cutting edge, like a unit we had never done before on the ethics of social media, which was quite interesting. And so each of the confirmation students has chosen a particular verse, which you will hear in their reflections. But before I call upon them, we take this opportunity to acknowledge and appreciate the love and devotion of their parents and grandparents, as well as the guidance and support of their teachers and our religious school director. We applaud the commitment these young people have made to study and service. And so with great pride, the confirmation class of 5782. Noah?
Hello everyone, my name is Noah Garab. In my 3 years of confirmation, we have gone over many different topics. One of the biggest and most important is to honor your father and mother. During our class discussions, we went over many ways of how we could be better people and how we could treat our parents better. As all of you should know, your father and mother are the most important people in your life. They brought you into this world for a reason. They are your biggest supporters and your role models. You wouldn't be the person you are today without them. Even if they are mad at you, they still always love you and have your best interests. If your parents were never mad at you, that means they don't care about you. They only get mad because of how much they care about you and how much they look out for you. I was reminded of that frequently while growing up. You should always try to do anything to make your parents feel honored. For example, before leaving the house, you could say how much you love them and tell them to have a great day. You could also send them a text or give them a call when you're out to show your love. Even the little things count and can go a long way. Just a couple of words or one text can completely change your parents' day. Another thing you could do is to finish what you're supposed to do without your parents saying a word. It gets annoying when your parents have to continuously nag you every day, over and over, for the same exact thing. For example, on my end, every time I don't do my chores, it gets annoying when my parents keep nagging me. On the other hand, when I do what I'm supposed to do without needing to be asked, it makes my parents feel a lot better. So to honor your father and mother, avoid the negatives, and make sure to repeat the positives. You should try to spend as much time as possible with your parents. You don't always have to go on vacation or go to a mall or even a fancy restaurant or something big like that. Even just playing a board game or having a conversation can still mean a lot and go a long way. You never know when your parents' time will unfortunately come to an end, so take advantage of every time you're able to have with them. There are many people in this world that would do anything just to even see their parents. For example, people involved in the Ukraine vs. Russia war. There are many children being separated from their parents without a choice. Do you think they want this? Absolutely not. Thank you all for listening and have a great night.
Obviously an A+ for that one. Griffin?
In the 3 years that I've been in confirmation class, a lot happened that was out of anyone's control. The first year, I didn't talk much, and truthfully, I was nervous to talk in front of the upperclassmen. By the end of the year, COVID struck and confirmation was canceled for a period of time. Then came year 2, and it was a little better. I started to get more engaged, but it was still a little weird seeing everyone through a computer screen. And finally, enter year 3, which started off a little shaky with our house flooding, followed by a broken leg. I did have a pink cast though, which was pretty cool. Once we got past that, it was great. We got to meet in person again, and I began to talk more with my classmates, and they made that very easy. The main theme of the year was family ethics and how they are present in our lives. Something that will stick with me for a long time is the topics we discussed and the lessons we learned. In the past couple of months, we have touched on what is happening in the world, and the quote I will read you now helps illustrate what we are talking about. If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. Let me say that again. If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. This was the last public Facebook post made by Heather Heyer, who was killed after a car rammed into a group of protesters near a Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, 2017. I chose this quote because I believe it relates very well to today's world, and I feel that more people need to be focused on what's going on around them. Little things like bullying and littering, or big issues in our world, like a law being overturned that would take away a woman's right to choose. We as a congregation and an overall global community need to open our eyes to injustices happening in the world, and not just in the towns where we are from. What's more is that the people who do realize what is happening around them seem apathetic. They may see a group of people in a foreign country escaping persecution, walking for miles on end, and casually scroll to the next post they see on Instagram. Many will skip past updates on a Supreme Court decision because they think there are other, more interesting things going on, or that it doesn't affect them, so why should they care? For change to happen, people need to take notice of what is going on around them, and even starting small can make a difference. Though you may not be able to grab everyone's attention and change the views of someone instantaneously, making an effort is how we as a community can better the future. To wrap things up, with all the things going on in the world today, many may be afraid to speak out and express how they are feeling, but if anyone wants change to happen, you need to start by taking a stand on something, getting informed, and getting involved. Be the change. Thank you.
Anna?
Hello. Whoever guards their tongue preserves their life.
This statement is a little extreme for our lives, I'd say, but it does ring true even if it is not always a life or death situation you might find yourself in. One of our in-class discussions was on the topic of social media and how people will often exaggerate their beliefs, say things that they shouldn't have, and outright lie. I do think the amount of anonymity or ability to reach many people on social media can be fun, allowing you to interact with people you would not have otherwise met, or allowing you to play a role, openly or not, that is not who you actually are. However, this anonymity and wide audiences can breed a desire to constantly be interesting or engaging. We all know how people can lie about their lives on the internet, and the more dire issue of misinformation. When one feels like they have many eyes on them, they may forget to guard their tongue and accidentally or intentionally use this communication tool for something less benign. This quote warns against exaggerated or untrue speech. The quote can also be taken to heart in our personal lives. For instance, I once spoke harshly to a friend without meaning to and hurt his feelings. If I had had the presence of mind to guard my tongue, I would not have hurt him. There are times that we react without thinking and regret it later. Although it can be difficult to always think before you speak, sometimes it is essential to. This quote reminds us that thoughtless words can have real consequences. Although this simple sentence was written thousands of years ago, it can still ring true today in ways that seem timeless and others that the original author could have never foreseen. Thank you.
Whoever guards their tongue preserves their life. What this quote means to me is that sometimes you have to do things that you might not want to do out of fear that there may be repercussions. It doesn't need to be not saying something when you want to. It could also be not doing something when you want to do it. Throughout my life, I have had to bite my tongue and hold back my words, but going to confirmation, I have found a group of people I can trust and express my opinions to. Who would have thought that a bunch of kids would have made friends because they have one thing in common? Even weirder when that one thing is a religious school that we all stopped going to 3 years ago. In confirmation class, the topic of censorship in schools has come up multiple times. In English class, in particular, most of the literature that we read follows the struggles of wealthy white people from at least 60 years ago. While some themes may stand the test of time, it's important to read texts that are relevant to issues students are facing right now. Issues surrounding socioeconomics, LGBTQIA+ awareness, and the struggles of mental health are rarely present in the curriculum, and therefore students are missing the opportunity to discuss them with their peers. I never really noticed how many times I couldn't say what was on my mind until I was in an environment which I could do so freely and openly. It's nice to have a group of people I can open up to and be myself around without having to bite back my tongue in order to preserve my life. Confirmation gave me a platform to discuss topics like mental health and to see the opinions of my peers. In the class, I felt no need to preserve my life because I know that I would not be judged while talking with my class, and I have learned new things from this open dialogue.
Genesis 3:16, Genesis 23:1, Exodus 13:8, Deuteronomy 21:18. What do all of these verses have in common? Most of us do not know what they mean. But thanks to Rabbi Barry Schwartz, I know that Proverbs 13:3 says, "Whoever guards their tongue preserves their life." While I do not entirely agree, I believe these are generally wise words. If you want to say unkind, unwise, or words of other some variety of stupid, keeping your lips sealed might be the best course of action. But if you want to speak out against injustice, bring up revolutionary ideas, or be a mensch of the mouth in some other capacity, speaking is not a bad idea. I, for one, have not quite followed this line of thinking, and other than a couple of odd looks here and there, I've generally preserved my life. But this happens to be on the level of a high school teen. When we look at the larger level of our country, we consistently see the justification of senseless violence, racism, and stupidity, and this effect is only heightened by more and more political figureheads who we only wish would guard their tongue as if their life depended on it. Going back to the smaller level, I'd like to take a look back at this year's confirmation class, where we went over family ethics. Earlier this year, Rabbi Barry had us go over a story where two kids were running for class president. and one of them posted some unkind words on Snapchat. This resulted in his suspension from the school. In this instance, we do see an example on a smaller scale where if this young boy had merely guarded his thumbs, he would have been severely less punished. When I first read this verse, I thought to myself, I like speaking. Why should I guard my tongue? But after writing this piece for a bit, I've come to the conclusion that it's a good idea for the general majority of us to at least briefly think about what we say before speaking. Shabbat Shalom.
Good evening. As most of you may know, my name is Sasha Raskin, and I've been attending Emuno's religious school programs for over 10 years. As my days as a student here comes to an end, I'm assigned the task of writing a speech for this religious service. The confirmation class and I were given the option of 7 quotes to expand on. The one I have chosen is, "The most urgent, the most disgraceful, the most shameful, and the most tragic problem is silence," originally said by Rabbi Joachim Prinz during the March of Washington on August 28, 1963. Although this quote was spoken in a different century and setting, it is relevant to today's world. I would like to relate this to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The country of Ukraine is a sovereign nation inhabiting 44.13 million people. 44.13 million people, most of which have lived quite similar lives to all of us here, except for the fact that they are being invaded by one of the largest militaries in the world. People that are risking their lives every day simply for living in their home country. So how do we continue our lives in bliss knowing that this crisis is occurring? I realize that if we have a voice, we must use it to the greatest extent. As people aware of these atrocities, it is our duty to speak out against them. If not, we are simply complicit in these human rights abuses. We cannot accept, in Prince's words, to be shameful and disgraceful. This means we all should be talking about the invasion and what it causes for the people of Ukraine and the entire world. Whether this is with our family and friends or teachers and students, when a momentous moment in history is occurring, we need to talk. We can also talk about it on social media. The rabbi has led our confirmation class in discussions of social media, and I've learned that it is a necessary outlet to express our concerns and essentially speak out. It's necessary that we take on the obligation to learn of the conflicts on earth and notify others and people in power when we want change to be implemented. Don't just mindlessly post and blurt statements, but read and become informed. As Prince points out, it is a problem to be silent in times of human struggle, and for this problem to be solved, we must speak with knowledge. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
We invite the confirmation class to join Sasha on the bima.
I will use this heart I've been given and take take a stand. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asanu b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asanu b'tselem Elohim. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I will fight for the truth. I'll stand up for what's right. I'll stand up for what's right. I will use this strength I've been given and be alive. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the
They sure do have a voice. Can these kids run for Congress already?
Yes. Yes.
Before the closing segment of our service, I do have a confirmation certificate for each member of this class, which they will pick up at the end of the evening. And at the same time, representing the Ritual Committee and the Board of Trustees, I'd like to ask David Garrett, one of the fathers in the confirmation class, to come forward. What have we here, David?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Oh. I think there's chocolate inside.
Thank you. You had me a chocolate.
Confirmation class.
Thank you.
Great job today.
Thank you.
I would also, if it's okay, like to, not to embarrass too much Doris White, because I was saying to her earlier, I still remember when Josh and Noah were preschooleys, getting the Shabbat box and our first experience with us. Thank you.
Oh, what a moment. That was so great.
Before the Aleinu, it is customary to offer to the confirmation class, bestow upon the class the Birkat Shalom, the blessing of peace. This is the most ancient blessing of our people that Aaron spoke to the people of Israel. As you know, we recite this prayer at all auspicious occasions, the name mitzvah, confirmation, marriage, and the like. So we ask you to please rise. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God show you kindness and grant you peace. Amen. As we open the ark, the bottom of page 282, the Elena.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ארצי בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שאמונות כשמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגוהי מרובים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, בדעת היום והשבות ללבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
As we remain standing, our thoughts turn to those of our loved ones no longer with us. We call to mind those recently taken from our midst. Avraham Shalush, father of Lee Shalush. On the Shabbat, we call to mind in love and reverence the Yortzeit of Frederick Breslov, father of Lisa Breslov. On the Shabbat, we remember the 10 men and women killed in Buffalo, New York this past week. On this Shabbat, with aching hearts, we mark 1 million of our people in our nation who have died of COVID. For all those close to our hearts, for all those for whom there may be no one to say Kaddish, we turn to the Kaddish prayer, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'hayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei t'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbi mevarach leolam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudisha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'hayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. Please be seated. By way of announcements, let me first offer a few thanks. On saxophone and flute, Scott Avila. On guitar, Peter Hayes. On percussion, Scott Dennis. On vocals, Elka Oliver. Vocals, piano, the incomparable Cantor Iris. We hope this is just the beginning of many musical Shabbatot that lift us up in the extraordinary way that you have done so this evening. Thank you to Jennifer Beckerman for coordinating the Oneg Shabbat, which will happen, the first Oneg in a long, long time, downstairs after the service this evening. So I believe there is a Kiddush and a Hamotzi that will gather for those who are comfortable gathering downstairs. This is a big concluding weekend for our congregation, this final family service of the school year. And so I do want to thank Shira Friedman and the religious school faculty, the religious education committee, parents and students who have all worked together through trying circumstances again this year to make a successful conclusion to a joyful but challenging religious school year. So thanks to all connected to the religious school. Tomorrow morning is the final session of our year-long Torah study. And I have to tell you, the way that older students in the congregation have persevered and mastered Zoom, and we're concluding the rise and fall of ancient Israel in grand fashion tomorrow morning. So another year of Torah study comes to a conclusion. Actually, on Sunday is the final session of religious school, followed by a potluck picnic. I think it's going to be about 95 degrees, but we'll seek the shade on our property and we'll enjoy that together. As always, want to thank Dylan for live streaming our service this evening. Dylan and Lauren and Michael Fishbein have combined to cover all of our services via live stream, and a special hello and welcome to all of you who are listening in this evening to our service. Our Shabbat service will conclude with two concluding songs this evening. Kain Yehi Ratzon is the first. This is a brand new song. I heard it just before the service for the first time ever, and it's a beautiful, beautiful song, and that will be followed by the final words of Peace, Oseh Shalom, to a melody that we've sung from time to time, to conclude with our voice of prayer and peace going out to a world so desperately needed is an appropriate way to conclude our service. Kain Yehi Ratzon, Oseh Shalom.
be safe. May I be free. May I find space, space to just be. Can you hear Ratzon? Can you hear Ratzon? May I find my way back home. Can you hear Ratzon? Can you hear Ratzon? May I find my way back home. We call to mind someone who's been good to us, someone who makes you smile or helps to smooth your path along the way. We open up our hearts and we offer them this blessing. May I be saved. May I be free. May you find space, space to just be. Can you hear Ratzon? Can you hear Ratzon? May you find your way back home. Can you hear Ratzon? Can you hear Ratzon? May you find your way back home. We call to mind someone who might be difficult for us, someone with whom we can't see eye to eye, even though we really try. We open up our hearts and we offer them this blessing. May you be saved. May you be free. May you find space, space to just be. Can you hear Ratzon? Can you hear Ratzon? May you find your way back home. Can you hear Ratzon? Can you hear Ratzon? May you find your way back home. We call to mind all that is good here at Emuno, the love of our temple family that you now, all you confirmants, have committed to, the hope and perspective that you bring to us, and all that we can learn from each other. We open up our hearts and we offer ourselves this blessing. May we be safe. May we be free. May we find space, space to just be. Can you hear Ratzon? Can you hear Ratzon? May
יושבי תבל Let's hear you all on the 9-9. And
'Cause you liked it, huh?
Too many